Hi, my name is Sellma. I am a local resident here in Meanjin, and I am a musician, performance artist, seamstress, drag queen, cook, mother of 80. The list goes on. There's a lot of lore to sink your teeth in, but mostly I have been a performer here in Meanjin for over 13 years now, and I have a lot of disciplines, but my heart has always lied in music. I was on The Voice in 2019. It was funny because I had such a successful career here in Brizzy as a drag performer before anything else, really. So I was performing in local venues like The Beat, The Wickham, Fluffies. I started drag brunch at Cloudland. It's like, sure, I'll give it a shot. I'll do The Voice. And I think it was more of a thing for me to go and have fun, put my name out there and set a positive message. I think a lot of people still have that image of Sellma on The Voice, bald, big, singing Marry the Night, which is like such a token song. It's like, what did the gay man sing on The Voice? Oh, Lady Gaga, surprise, surprise. It's like I didn't even have a fucking choice. So I went on The Voice, I got through to the knockout rounds. They made me sing Bootylicious in front of Kelly Rowland. That was a whole thing. And then I got kicked off. I didn't want them to control my narrative as me being this queer victim that got bullied all the time in high school. I just love music. I love music and I love creating and being free to create. The whole time during The Voice and even during drag, I have wanted autonomy and control over the way that people perceive me. You can only have so much control when you are letting other people tell your story or represent you, especially when you don't even know yourself as fully as you think you do. And it's only been in the last maybe 4 or 5 years that I have sort of solidified my direction and what I want to do. And part of that has been distro sub, which has been a piece of the puzzle for me, especially when it comes to having autonomy in the music industry, I guess is the biggest thing for me. It's really difficult when you are in the early stages of like creating and developing new acts or work, and people are like, but you're this, and you're this, and you're this. The sheer fact that me as a queer person, I am multifaceted and multi-layered, and I still don't even know myself yet. So for them to go, actually, no, you're a pop princess, you're a punk princess, you're a country princess, and we're gonna be in that box, that's never been my life. Like, I've never been like, okay, I'm gonna stay in this lane right here. It takes all the fun out of it. It takes every ounce of creative fun out of it, and I think that's the best thing about distro sub for me at the moment is like, well, I don't have to have management. Prior to The Voice, or even after The Voice, I did it all myself. I thought it was important. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and write a fucking album. I'm gonna try and write an album from the perspective of a queer woman living in Meanjin, performing in Meanjin, and doing lots of other naughty things in Meanjin. And hopefully somebody hears that is a young version of me, or whoever needs to hear it and goes, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I can be queer, I can be gay, I can be different, I can be eclectic, and I don't have to stay to one lane. I've made fucking $80 from 5 years of music. You know what I mean? Like, that's from royalties. That's from like little drip feeds coming in, and then some magical entity appears and goes, you have $80 in your bank account now. And you're like, why? How did this work? And then you find out that it's actually really easy to get that money. It's really easy to get that money and give yourself worth when we have equipment and tools like distro sub. A lot of people are caught up in this idea that because music has operated this way for so long, it has to continue operating that way. And then we have disruptors like distro sub coming in that will struggle to get off the ground because it doesn't benefit these moguls that just want to benefit and cannibalize artists. And that's the thing that I'm so sick and tired of. It's like, I have worked so long and so hard for the benefit and furtherment, new word, of spaces that exist and continue to exist while I still, I don't have a mortgage, I don't have a nice car, but I am a culture maker, I'm a taste maker here in Meanjin, and without me, your parties fucking suck. So I think things like DistroSub are getting me like riled up to go, oh, I can fucking do it. I can do it, and I don't need many people's help. I think DistroSub is heading in a spectacular direction, and the more artists that get on board, the more powerful it will become, because I think it is now about gussying up and empowering artists to leave these platforms that promise us literally nothing. I feel empowered by DistroSub because of its existence. That sounds like really wank. I don't know what else to say about that other than I feel empowered to make music because I'm not overthinking who else is getting that money? Who else is taking away my intellectual property and like getting a 2% cut off it every time they move money around? Like, I am completely self-taught. So when those things come to me, I'm like, yes, why not? As long as you can provide X, Y, Z in education or training, or you're going to walk along with me. And I think that's sort of how I've sort of stumbled into music again. Like, I've always written songs, I've always come up with melodies, but never had access to instruments or education or any of that sort of stuff. Like, my parents are very accepting and beautiful, but like, I was still a little boy growing up in Queensland, and it was, probably beneficial for me to be in sport rather than music, if you will. So I never got any like music lessons, and it wasn't until like later on in life that I was like, oh, I actually have these chops that I've been honing for years, and I just sing quietly in my bedroom and nobody hears it. And then I took that chance with Dicko and a small team. Tim Atkins, who is a part of Same Time, they're now over in the UK. Him and I wrote heaps of fucking songs, so many songs that never saw the light of day, and that was because of management, because of distribution companies. I'm not going to name and shame those distribution companies, but it's really difficult when you are in the early stages of like creating and developing new acts or work, and people are like, but you're this, and you're this, and you're this, and it's really hard to get old white men across the line of eclecticism, and also the sheer fact that me as a queer person, I am multifaceted and multi-layered, and I still don't even know myself yet. So for them to go, actually, no, you're a pop princess, you're a punk princess, you're a country princess, and we're gonna be in that box, that's never been my life. Like, I've never been like, okay, I'm gonna stay in this lane right here. It's like, well, actually, I love country music. I love punk music. Actually, the funniest thing is that my first ever concert was a Casey Chambers concert, and I got made fun of religiously at high school for that. Like, we were the country bumpkins that loved the Chicks and Casey Chambers and Patsy Cline, and we were redneck dirt children. So I just love music. I love music, and I love creating and being free to create. And I think that was the really interesting thing coming from drag, where I get to perform anyone's song, create something even that night, and then get on stage, perform it, and then it's done. And my manager used to say that drag is sort of a disposable art form, and that ripped me a new one. I was so mad about that, because I thought, well, why isn't there any permanency in drag? And it's because we don't esteem queer art or queer nightlife in the same way that we do with other scenes. So I thought it was important. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and write a fucking album. I'm gonna try and write an album from the perspective of a queer woman living in Meanjin, performing in Meanjin, and doing lots of other naughty things in Meanjin. And hopefully somebody hears that is a young version of me, or whoever needs to hear it, and goes, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I can be queer, I can be gay, I can be different, I can be eclectic, and I don't have to stay to one lane. So music now, it's like, I think I've really found so many roadblocks when I was with with management, or with people that were like, oh, we have to go through a distribution company, where it was like, we had all of this great material. We still have all of that great material. And it's only been since DistroSub has got up and running that I've gone, well, I'm never gonna mix and produce those songs to the level that I want them to be, so I can just put them on DistroSub. And that's actually been a massive piece of the puzzle for me in going, do I want to continue pursuing making, creating, and selling music, essentially? It's really important as an artist for you to be humble and gracious and to believe in the fantasy of fame economy, which is you do the work for fucking nothing for as long as possible, and then one day, hopefully, you make it, and you don't have to pay for anything anymore. Your record company pays for it, and then you're broke and beheld to this record company for the fucking rest of your life, and you end up being Liberace. I don't know. Like, I just imagine Liberace being like, please don't make me write another piano song. You probably don't even know who Liberace is. Anyway.
Not here to that's beautiful. Yeah, that's basically what it is, because I think a lot of people approach DistroSub and they're just trying to be Spotify. But the main reason
but it's not true.
Is to answer all those hardships that artists face trying to make a living from their art that they're trying to have.
Yeah. I think the thing is that people are looking for access to their artists. Like, when you find an artist, you want to sort of know as much as possible as you can find. So, like, I feel like DistroSub sort of has this awesome position where I can have a relationship with my audience that is still, sort of at arm's length, but I can give them as much or as little as I want, and I don't really have to compete with the algorithms on Instagram or Facebook or any of that sort of stuff. And I think as a landing pad for, new viewers to your music, it's a really good opportunity to personalize all of your content and let your audience know where you are, what you have coming up, and just be transparent about I think that's the biggest thing in this day and age for me is how much did that video clip cost you to make? How much do you realistically need to stream my music in order to get across the line? Because there's this really big taboo in our industry of let's not talk about the money side of things. It's really important as an artist for you to be humble and gracious and to believe in the fantasy of fame economy, which is you do the work for fucking nothing for as long as possible, and then one day, hopefully, you make it, and you don't have to pay for anything anymore. Your record company pays for it, and then you're broke and beheld to this record company for the fucking rest of your life, and you end up being Liberace. I don't know. I just imagine Liberace being like, please don't make me write another piano song. You probably don't even know who Liberace is. Anyway.
Not here to say.
Yeah. But I think, DistroSub is a powerful platform, and I think that if you're saying it is just like Spotify, then you haven't used it. And I think the other thing about DistroSub is that it is, how do we say this? Cognitively, you have to switch on for DistroSub, where I think Spotify is about switching off and switching out. It's about consuming. It's about how many different artists can I just listen to in my trip to the Gold Coast today and just smash out as many of those fucking songs. I think that DistroSub is very important in slowing people down and bringing it back to connection, because Spotify isn't about yes, we put on Spotify at parties and whatnot, and you can add your fucking cues and whatnot, but it's I don't know.
That kind of follows into one of our last questions. Now that you've
I think the biggest thing for me is I want to see artists and consumers sort of working in tandem together, and also allowing consumers to personalize their pages. I think that's one thing that is missing from Spotify. It's you can, create your own playlists and name those playlists, but there's no real way to be celebrated as a true diehard fan. So I guess I would love to see, when people get a video from their favorite artist, they could maybe put that on their page and sort of highlight the people that they're listening to. I think DistroSub is heading in a spectacular direction, and the more artists that get on board, the more powerful it will become, because I think it is now about gussying up and empowering artists to leave these platforms that promise us literally nothing. And I think the best thing about distro sub as well is that it's only a couple of people working on it. Like there's a handful of people making it happen, and there aren't 6 different entities trying to figure out how they can get money off you. And I think honest commerce within the arts is really, really important. And the more that artists jump ship over to spaces like DistroSub, the better it's going to be. But I think for sure this is the right direction, and it's one of the only answers at the moment for an industry that is rife with vultures.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, girl. We'll do the last one. If you want to, I don't know, maybe talk to the camera and say your artist name.
Yep.
And do a little call to action and be like,
hi, my name's Sellma, and you should stream all of my music on DistroSub because you are a supporter of local music and local talent. And if you go and listen to me on Spotify, I see none of it. None of that money will ever be in my pocket. Everything that I've ever worked on for the last 5 years will be worth nothing. I will starve. My carcass will rot in the street. And then all of the vultures will come down and pick that carcass. Spotify, Apple Music, all gone. So yeah, it's up to you. I die, or you get on to DistroSub.
oh, you perfect.
Cut! I can do another sensible one. DistroSub is a platform sort of like Spotify, but much better. It's for the artists, made by artists, and it literally pays the artists. So if you know local musicians in your area that could just be, fed, just paid, then maybe you should get onto DistroSub, send that artist DistroSub, and you should both make a platform. Because every time you stream a song, I feel it. I get paid. I feel loved. Mama. Mama. That's all I had to say. And also, one more thing.